Out of Cincinnati that we want to get to. Adam, what do we need to know?
Well, Laura, all summer long we've seen that Jamar Chase has essentially been a hold-in, though nobody has called it a hold-in. But clearly he's got 2 years left in his contract in a market where other wide receivers have been paid lots of money. But today, for the first time, after he's yet to practice during mandatory minicamps, after he's yet to practice during training camp, Jamar Chase wasn't even in attendance today with the rest of his team. Now, Zach Taylor simply said afterwards it's a day-to-day situation. But the fact of the matter is there are people from across the league looking in on this, wondering if this situation has now gone a little bit sideways, causing Jamar Chase not to be even with the team at practice, with the season now just over a few weeks away. The Bengals and Jamar Chase both have been very mum about this particular situation, but clearly there is plenty bubbling beneath the surface here.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on those bubbles, Adam. It feels like something might be happening. To Cincinnati, where Joe Burrow threw a touchdown in his first game action since that wrist injury that sidelined him the back half of last season. And one thing Burrow's surely aware of, the absence of Jamar Chase this summer. This coming from Bengals reporter Ben Baby. Quote, no sign of Jamar Chase at practice today. This would be notable because this would be the first day he wasn't actually at practice. Even though he hasn't been practicing, he's still been present. Adam talked about this earlier in the show, too. Maybe something there happening. Marcus, Burrow's top target, Jamar Chase, still not there. How concerned are you about that?
I am very concerned, Boogie, when you start talking about not only this division, and then, too, you think about camp and the price of being good now is starting to show itself with the Cincinnati Bengals. We saw T. Higgins go through his situation. Joe Burrow has been injured. Trey Hendrickson made a little bit of noise. I think they got that situation ironed out. And now you have your number one as as number one as one get, not at camp. And this has just been those summers for the Cincinnati Bengals. And the slow starts is what has gotten them in the years that we haven't seen them have the type of success. Obviously, Joe Burrow being injured played more of a factor than anything, but I just don't like this. We expect this team to be good. We expect them to be legit contenders in the AFC. And I know Jamar Chase can come back and have success. He sat out a whole damn year in college and came as a rookie and tore the league up. So I'm not concerned about him being able to play at a high level. It's the psyche. This is the price you pay, though, for being a successful team and having a bunch of guys that command number $1 at their position.
0% chance Jamar Chase doesn't play in week one. 0% chance. This deal will get done. But this is as big a deal as the CeeDee Lamb and Dallas one, 100%. If not bigger. Dallas at least has a couple other people that could be viable options. The Bengals, and I've said this many times, they literally run their offense through Jamar. It is, we're going to put Jamar here. If he's singled up, we throw it to Jamar. If he's getting double teamed, we throw it to somebody else. They're very similar in the situation of they have no shot without him. That's why I think, and it's interesting, during the report, it was said Zach Taylor describes it as a day-to-day situation. That makes me think that something is happening between both sides to get this done.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Okay, so let's talk about this, because if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, you have to be really, really frustrated, and you should be really frustrated. Whether the deal is going to get done today or tomorrow, this has a bigger effect than I think people realize. And I think that's what Marcus Spears was trying to get at with in terms of the psyche, especially because the psyche of the team, and how now what Orlovsky's saying is that this whole offense is run through Jamar, which means when he's not there, they can't work on the stuff that they need to work on. And not to mention, even if they're confident, okay, that Jamar Chase will be able to get it because Jamar, right, he was able to sit out for a year and still blah, 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 blah. That's fine. But the rest of the team isn't like that. A lot of the players aren't like that. They need that continuity. They need that momentum from the offseason into the actual season. And that's kind of also what Spears was saying of like these slow starts have absolutely hurt the Bengals. And you want to avoid these slow starts. And this potentially sets up the Bengals to just not be settled right off the bat. Not to mention, even if we just look at the other side of the ball, I mean, we could do this with many positions, but let's just look at the other side of the ball. Right now, coaches are trying to get this team connected, get this team unified. They're trying to sell this message, right? They're trying to get everyone going, and they're saying, we have a real chance. You know, this is our year. Let's go. We're as good as any other team. Let's prove to everyone, blah, 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 blah. And they're all like, yeah, we believe that. Yeah, let's go. But they're also thinking, not if Jamar Chase isn't there. You're not going to be able to, you're going to tell us that we have a great chance to win and Jamar Chase isn't here? Like, what? And then there's also then all the whispers are like, man, they don't want to pay Jamar. Like, they don't want to pay Jamar. Or they're going to want to pay me. Like, it just starts to get, everything just starts to get infected, right? Like, it's not an actual unified team, a unified locker room, a unified goal. And it just becomes problematic. It just becomes problematic. And it's just like, it wouldn't matter as much if the Bengals didn't have true expectations or true potential to say make a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl, right? If it was the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Giants or, you know, any of these other random teams, then I could understand, right? Then it makes it a little bit different. But you have Joe Burrow, right? You were just in the Super Bowl a few years ago. You think that you should be able to go to the Super Bowl AFC Championship game year after year after year after year. But there's just been some issues with some injuries and stuff like that. But the whole idea is that if you're healthy, that the Bengals should be there, a top team, a top 4 team in the NFL, essentially, every single year. Top 2 in the AFC. This is the stuff that you can't have. This is the nonsense that you just can't have. You're not resilient enough at this point. You haven't won. Maybe if you already won a couple Super Bowls, you could be a little bit more resilient, but you haven't yet. You can't take these shots just yet. And again, I really strongly believe it starts to infect the rest of the team, even just subtly. And in the NFL, the margin of errors are so slim these days, so slim. So it's these little things that could end up really hurting you. And I'm not trying to like overstate this and say this is like the biggest deal in the entire world, because like Orlovsky said, there's 0 chance that he doesn't start week 1. And I believe that as well. But it's still the potential to kind of delay things. It delays the team from being settled. It delays the camaraderie, the connection, the belief in themselves. It's just not what you want to deal with if you think that you have a real chance to be a top team in the NFL. If you don't think you're a top team in the NFL, then all right. But a lot of times when teams aren't top teams in the NFL, it's because they don't have the players. It's because they have a disconnected offense or just a disconnected locker room. It's because they don't have the coach, right? It's because they don't have so many of these little things. Maybe sometimes it's 1 or 2. Maybe sometimes it's a collection. Maybe it's just the quarterback. Maybe sometimes it's just the coach. But what separates maybe a team that's pretty good from being great and elite, especially when you already have the coach, you already have the quarterback, it's these little things. How did your offseason go? How did you build that locker room up? How did you prepare in the offseason? And this is just not the way to go about it. It's really that simple. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think that Cincinnati has any chance without Jamar Chase? Do you think there's any chance that he, actually sits out and misses week 1 or beyond that? Or do you think they will definitely get it done? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.